What is going on, peeps? Today is time to talk about something that a lot of people do ask me about, but really it's a topic that I feel like is going to be very exciting in the comment section because people are very passionate about it. And you can probably guess what it was about the title of the video, but essentially I'm going to tell you why I will never buy an F80 M3. Really, to start this off, I know this is gonna sound really biased and probably really annoying and immature or whatever you want to classify it as. But essentially, so I have an E92 M3 V8 manual. I would probably say it's fair to assume I'm more of a purist. I'm all about the driving engagement, all about the feel and how the car kind of makes wraps around you and you become one as the car, which this car has made me feel more than pretty much any car other than like a GT3 or something like that has made me feel. So the biggest issue I have with the new M3s, with the twin turbo inline six, is the sound. So a lot of you guys are gonna say, oh, well, with the competition package, they fixed everything. And my answer to that is they fixed a lot of the sound, but I'm not really into the whole burbles and the way that that engine sounds. It seems like it's impossible to make that engine sound good. And I know that sounds crazy, but I've literally only heard probably 2 at the most F80s that I deemed as like acceptable. And maybe that's just my taste, and I am spoiled from my S65 engine. There's nothing that sounds like it, especially with an exhaust. It is extremely unique, and I am very jaded from having to experience this car as much as I have. It's definitely made me jaded from being able to appreciate the new F80. So that's really one of the biggest things, is the sound. There's very few things you can do to make that sound good, in my opinion. I know Tony, who lives in Florida, he has a few things done to his F82. He has a competition can and like downpipes or something, and I think he has maybe something else done, and it actually sounded good. It just doesn't sound like V8, which I know it's never going to. I don't expect it to, but even like an N54 335 sounds better than that, in my opinion, and I'm sorry that sounds crazy. Number 2 is the driving experience. These are the 2 biggest things. The driving experience of this car. I never realized how good it was until I got into a new M4. And even I drove an M4 DCT and manual, and the manual was JB Ford. So it had a shit ton of power, and it's a great car. Like, don't get me wrong, like even a stock M4 is still better than this car on paper, hands down. Faster and better in every way, just because of technology, and it's a new design and everything like that. So I understand that it is a better car, but it is not better from an engagement standpoint. You have to differentiate that, where this car, you don't even think about where you're placing it, really. It's there. I don't know how else to describe it. I brought it to the Smoky Mountains, and it's very very from a weight standpoint. It's predictable from steering, and really from even just having it not in MDM mode, just regular comfort mode. It's very nice to drive. So the engagement, the steering, It is hydraulic still. It's not the electric steering. That's part of the reason. The brand new, like 2018 M3s and M4s have very good steering, don't get me wrong, but I want to be able to differentiate that this steering in particular is very, very good. And it's not just because it's heavy or whatever, like, oh, it's German and it's old so it's gonna feel heavy. No, 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 no. Heavy steering is not good. This is heavy enough, but it's also more engaging than anything else that I've driven kind of in this price performance category. I'm not gonna, you know, compare this car to a GT3. I'm not gonna compare it to even like a Civic Type R or whatever. It's very, or even a 335i. A 335i does not drive the same as this car at all. You put, you know, M3 parts and suspension and it's gonna drive better, just because they're, you know, higher performance and it's gonna drive more like an M3, but it is only 30% an M3, a 335 or a 328 is only 30% shares the same parts, if that. If in many cases it's probably even less. So the people that say how it's stupid to buy an M3, yeah, well, I don't really have a lot of depreciation, and I have one of the best driving experiences and sounds from an engine and exhaust standpoint that I've experienced in, you know, the mid $30,000 range. So I want to keep that clear that I'm not saying this is the best car ever, because it does have its downfalls, which is another video. But the two biggest things that I'm ranting about on this beautiful day, it says it's 84 degrees, windows down. I wanted to talk with you guys because these videos actually do really well when we talk about a very specific topic, and you guys have a lot of input. So you are definitely, my crowd is definitely one to tell me when I'm wrong. I don't even want to know any costs that the owner has sunk into this car to keep it running, but it does sound a little rattly. It does sound like it has almost 100,000 miles on it, but it is pretty solid for what it, or when a lot of people think I'm wrong. So that is, I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. Really, those are the biggest reasons why I, you know, that's short conversation about why the new F80s or F82s or whatever, I don't think are worth it to me. I think dailying that would be a lot nicer than this car, just because, you know, it's better on gas, it's newer. You could argue it's probably more comfortable. You know, they're easy to drive. You know, this car is very easy to drive too. You could easily daily this. I just don't, because it's not fun in traffic. Like I don't enjoy sitting in this car and bumper to bumper, clutch and do it, you know, that whole thing. It's not fun. It's stressful, it's rainy, it's snowy. Like I just don't see the point. I mean, this is a rear-wheel drive performance car. What the hell is the point of burning gas and sitting in traffic lights? It's just stupid. So that's why I have the trusty Jeep. Sit in the Jeep and like screw around while I'm sitting in traffic. So those are my biggest points, guys. I know that there are a few F80 owners. I'd be interested to see your opinion. I know I have like Marat, I don't know if you watch my videos, BMW engines. I mean, we constantly go back and forth, and I constantly say how horrible the sound of the F80s is, and you constantly say how it's not that bad. I've heard it in so many different applications, on video, in person, being in one. I mean, it's just, I know it's not the same and it's hard to compare, but one M3 to the other, you know, the E46 to this car, people, I don't think people complained. You know, this car's heavier than that. Has the V8, it has the few, you know, maintenance questions that people are worried about, whether it's a throttle actuator or rod bearings and stuff. You know, you can make the argument both ways very easily, and that's kind of the point of this video. Every once in a while people kind of get the wrong idea and they say, oh, you're an idiot, you just think that whatever, you're biased. And yeah, I am biased, but that's kind of the point of the video, is if you don't appreciate the story and you don't appreciate this point of view, you know, this avenue, whether it's my avenue or yours, then you shouldn't be here. Someone was like freaking out the other day, so I had some fun commenting back and forth with people who just simply don't understand and don't appreciate a channel like this. So I think that it's really cool to share ideas, and what's cool is I get to share my ideas and you guys get to tear me apart if I sound stupid. So I am seriously so happy to be driving this car more. I was in Atlanta, I was getting the wheels fixed, it was rainy, so 3-4 weeks I hadn't even touched the car. There was like a layer of dust on it because my garage is like rafters, and it gets very dusty. Like when it rains, I think if it's a heavy rain or heavy wind, the dust gets all, you know, stirred up, and then it lands in the car, and it's really wonderful. So that's kind of annoying when that happens, but that is gonna end it. Leave a comment below. You know, that is what this video is about. It's about engagement, and I have tried to engage with you guys through other platforms, whether it's a website or Instagram or something like that, and it seems like these videos are your primary way to interact with me. And it's not that I have to reply to every single comment, but I see people replying to each other's comments, their own comments, reply back to me, I'll comment. So I'm kind of just leaving it to this platform primarily. You know, I'm still on other platforms, but this is the main way that it seems like you guys appreciate the interaction. So we're gonna use the comment sections. And do not forget to thumbs up this video, because the quicker the thumbs up happen, the more people see it, especially the people who are subscribed. So keep that in mind. I do appreciate you guys on this beautiful sunny day. I hope it's nice by you. It's about time that it gets nice here in Ohio. Finally in the 80s, and I'm actually sweating like a freaking dog over here, even though dogs don't sweat. So I don't really understand why people say sweating like a dog, because dogs pant. But anyways, all right, I'm done here. It's time to go back home, and I will see you in the next video.